everybody, welcome to Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Will.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons & Dragons, from Demogorgon to Demogorgon to Demogorgon to Demogorgon.
Brian, what the
Hey, Will.
What's going on, Brian? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty swell.
It's episode 200, man.
It is.
We made it.
We made it.
Against all odds.
This is it. We're done after this.
No, but you know, and I almost said like, if only that were true, but I don't want that to be true.
Of course not.
We're gonna keep going.
Indeed.
We're gonna keep it going for love and keep it going for Demogorgon, the topic of today's episode. So, Will, how much do you know about my man?
I actually know a lot about Demogorgon.
We did do a whole episode on Demogorgon already.
That's true.
Shout out to Demogorgon.
I've done a lot of research that's ancillary to him, so I've learned a lot there. But today,
I know more than anybody how many times you have done ancillary research for Demogorgon.
This is true. But today's a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing the lecture or the presentation, if you will.
I'm at the wheel, baby.
Indeed. And today I'm reading the stat block.
And I've got 4 points of contact on that steering wheel.
All right.
They're my arms forking into 2 tentacles.
There we
touching.
go. All right.
10 and 2. How about 10 and 2 and like 8 and like 6? 4, 6,
yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That one, it does what it wants. Will, Demogorgon is a powerful demon lord, ruler of the 88th layer of the Abyss, called the Gaping Maw. He is called by the title of Demon Prince. Though this title is self-proclaimed, it has been won by the almighty Demogorgon, shout out to Demogorgon, over the other demon lords because of his immense power and great influence.
Yeah, some would say he's the strongest.
Some would say he's the strongest. Some would know he's the strongest. That some is me. That some is you. This is mostly detailed in 4th edition Monster Manual and as well as 5th edition. They've done a lot of updates on Demogorgon.
Yeah.
So
mainstay from the beginning, though.
that's right. One of the first back there with who's that guy? Orcus. Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, we don't like him.
He's even considered to be a lesser deity back in 2nd edition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I know there's been some demon lords that have had that deity done to them.
2nd edition. You know.
Yeah, okay.
Old school stuff.
That's interesting.
5th edition notates him as the sibilant beast and master of the spiraling depths. He is the embodiment of chaos, madness, and destruction, seeking corruption to all that is good in order to undermine order in the multiverse. He would like nothing more than to see all existence dragged howling into the infinite depths of the abyss, and his ideal world would rid all beings aside from himself, including his cultists. In the multiverse, according to Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. In the meantime, Demogorgon regularly plots to steal additional lairs from other demon lords. He hates Orcus and vice versa, and is also particularly at odds with Frazer Blue and Grazit.
Yeah, Grazit, because Grazit's got that triple realm. And you know he wants a piece of that pie.
That triple realm, baby. Oh man, you're bringing up memories.
I am. No, I'm thinking he's called the sibilant beast probably because he has 2 heads. So he is 2. He is his own sibling.
We're gonna get there.
Okay, all right. I'm just commenting.
Yes.
I continue.
Yes, definitely. We will talk. Trust me. Let's talk about what Demogorgon looks like, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So he's 18 feet tall. That's 5.5 meters.
That's
and
bigger than most big guys.
He's very big, and that's part of his whole deal. He's not only a demon lord and has all these demon lord powers, but he's also very physically brutish and powerful.
Yeah.
A decent frame of reference for his height would be, I don't know, take a look at your normal door. Now stack another one on top of it, and then take half of that door and stack another one up there. So he's like 2.5 doors tall.
He's 2.5 doors tall, which sounds way less impressive.
That's pro gaming tips, though. If you want to dungeon master something, be like, imagine 2.5 doors. It's Demogorgon, baby.
Yeah, gotcha.
His upper body is built with the frame of a great ape, bulky and strong, but with scales instead of skin or fur. It's kind of like a snake.
Kind of looking at an image right now. It's like mammalian/reptilian.
Yeah. Which duality.
Yeah.
I would say his most notable feature would be his 2 heads, yes?
Definitely.
They sit upon their own respective necks, which are sometimes depicted as long and slender in earlier editions. Yeah. In 5th edition, we see the iconic image of Demogorgon on the cover of the Out of the Abyss adventure module. It depicts thick, short necks.
It does.
And that's where you see the hairier upper body.
Right now. Yeah.
Do you want to show the camera? Shout out to my boy. Yeah, my boy.
Yeah.
That's the tone.
So yeah,
there.
much thicker, bulkier neck.
Yeah, muscular, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, where was I? Oh man, on the other side of the fence here.
Talking about his neck.
Yes, I was talking about his neck, his hairy upper body. Either way, Each one is seen ending in a head with the likeness of a mandrill. I think
I
much
always
less
thought it
so
was a
in 5th
baboon.
edition. A mandrill is a baboon.
Oh, they're the same thing?
Well, hang on a second.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know if they're the same thing.
Let's take a break from mandrills and shout out to Spark Mandrill of Mega Man X, who from henceforth shall be known as Demogorgon Robot. You remember Mega Man.
Shout out to Demogorgon Robot.
Shout out to Demogorgon Robot, Spark Mandrill. You remember Mega Man X, right, William?
Yes.
A sci-fi robot side-scrolling
I know the
platformer from the
game,
1990s.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, another less obscure frame of reference here would be Rafiki from The Lion King.
Oh, shout out to Rafiki.
Shout out to Rafiki from The Lion King, that movie from Disney
He's
in the
obviously
1990s.
a Demogorgon shaman.
Yeah,
Obviously.
it's an aspect of the Demogorgon, and he's there to save the Pride Lands.
Or drag it into the abyss.
Or drag everything. He's like, Simba must be the king so he could bring everything to true ruin.
Indeed.
Scar was only the beginning. Simba will come in and ruin the economy even further.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a short bounce back where everybody thinks it's cool. They'll come back here, we'll drag them all down.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. So the real life mandrill, that is kind of like a baboon, but fun fact about mandrills, they were once classified as baboons, but now claim their own genus, Mandrillus, along with the baboon-like species, the drill, according to Wikipedia.
Okay, so they're baboon.
Shout out to Wikipedia.
They're baboon adjacent.
Yes, they are baboon adjacent.
And Demogorgon has mandrill heads, though.
Demogorgon typically, like the older editions draw like actual mandrill heads.
Oh yeah,
on him.
I've seen him.
And
like he used to be like in 4th edition, he's drawn as like bright orange.
Yeah, mandrills have like red and blue on their face, and like you see a lot of orange in Demogorgon, like almost like his insides are glowing.
Yeah,
I just
I'm seeing
figure
that
that's
here.
a bunch of power in there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what I think it's supposed to portray.
So some obscure lore, and I didn't include this in my notes, but I did read it, was that he was actually was a embodiment of like the elemental planes or something like that.
Okay, so in 4th edition, the whole abyss thing the cosmology got changed because Asmodeus got a hold of a shard of darkness and became a greater god and grabbed the abyss by his hands and hurled all of it into the elemental chaos.
Okay.
And so the idea in 4th edition is that the abyss is at the bottom of the broiling elemental chaos.
Right.
And all the elementals that get a little too close to the abyss come demons, and demons are also inherently tied to the elemental stuff.
So
in 4th
based on
edition.
that,
it's a little weird.
Demogorgon was one of the first creatures to enter in, and thus became more powerful than the others. He was able to absorb
in
more.
the 4th edition lore, Demogorgon was originally one of like the primal elemental, along with a bunch of others that got too close to the abyss, and he was amongst the first. Yeah.
Cool. So I don't know.
But that's really separate from everything else.
Yes, and I didn't want to really like. It came up, so I thought I'd touch on it, but I don't know if that's like how official that is or whatever.
It's as unofficial as something completely official could get.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe that the glowing from within Demogorgon is kind of a hearkening to maybe something like that.
I could definitely see that.
That primal energy kind of trying to burst out from inside of him.
I like that.
I don't think there are other demon lords that glow.
Let's take a look. I got a few here, but you keep going.
Yeah, that's a good, because I looked at some of them and I didn't notice any glowing necessarily, and the way
he looks
Demogorgon
like
does.
he wants to explode with power.
That's what I'm saying, and he will, dog. He will.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. So
I'll go ahead and continue on.
You keep going.
Instead of arms, Demogorgon boasts two long, powerful tentacles, I guess is what I want to call them. They split partway down.
Well, they're arms that become tentacles.
Right, because he's got an elbow.
They're arms all the way up to like the end of the forearm right here.
Yeah, and so and then after that it becomes pretty much a tentacle.
Two tentacles,
Splits into a Y shape.
It's a cool fucking design.
Yeah, it's good.
He looks fucking cool.
Who needs opposable thumbs when you've just got like
Four
fucking
tentacles?
octopus shit going on?
It's true.
So the lower torso and legs remind me of a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a raptor, bulky and reptilian with sharp talons or claws, defining them as dangerous weapons in their own right.
Yeah.
And on his rear is a muscular, barbed tail.
Yeah,
or would you call that like a hook? Or
It looks like a hook.
It's got a hook at the end, but I think there's like barbs kind of up it.
It's barbs that
and
work all the
hooked.
way to a hook. It's barbed and hooked.
It's barbed and hooked, and it's made to suck the life force from you.
Okay.
Yeah, so... Will, I'm getting a call from the master himself. He's asking me to do some shout-outs. He knows that's kind of my thing, but maybe you could do some shout-outs?
I'll do my best.
Let's do some shout-outs. How about to supporters of the Dungeoncast who are in turn supporters of Demogorgon?
Yes, sure, absolutely.
Let's read some patrons off. Thank you for coming to the Patreon and
Welcome
supporting.
to the cult of Demogorgon.
Welcome.
Thank you, Nick Woyson.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Chris G.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Ryan Camtron.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Nicholas Cordio.
Thank you, Nicholas.
And thank you, Leon J. Mosley.
Thank you, Leon.
We'll shout out the rest of you later.
Yes. The Demon Lord himself is satisfied for now. Symmetry, Will. It's all about symmetry and duality right now.
I know.
Let's make that makes up the largest parts of Demogorgon's design, not only physically, but in character. Each head of Demogorgon houses its own separate brain and personality. And while they are both Demogorgon, they are simultaneously their own separate entities and each take a name. So the left head is known as Ameul, while its right is Hethrodaya, which I believe we covered last time.
Yeah, I think we did, yeah.
So those are the personalities that war over control of the full personality, the full scope of Demogorgon. Okay. And they do war against each other.
Yeah.
The two heads or personalities vie for dominance within Demogorgon, Ameul being the more charismatic and cunning of the two.
Okay, that's kind of what I was going to ask. Like, who are the two?
Yeah, so the charisma in the sense of like more willful in those kind of ways, but also very deceptive and
say probably more social.
Yes, and that does come into play. Demogorgon is quite social in terms of like keeping it in the abyss. Yeah, this is the more cunning of the two. Ameul wishes to separate and become their own entity. This entity prefers deception, cunning, and manipulation when plotting their evil schemes. Now, Hethrodaya craves destruction and does not wish the separation of the two, but to dominate and conquer the other. They want
no wonder the other one wants to leave.
Hethrodaya wants to unify their differences under one master, which is Hethrodaya.
Right.
They're the more feral and instinctive side of Demogorgon. They're prone to taking this destructive action before taking much consideration. So if you want this animalistic sort of Godzilla presence in your game, this is the head that's going to be in control.
Right.
Whereas the head of Ameul is going to be working behind the scenes beforehand, weaving machinations to stop enemies before they make it to the front gates, that sort of thing. So you're probably beaten by Demogorgon long before you reach his lair, but if you do, now you have to deal with Hethrodaya.
I like that. That's really cool.
That's my take on it anyway.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's pretty accurate.
So despite these two personalities plotting to destroy or dominate each other, Demogorgon has been known to utilize the strengths of each of its heads in innovative ways to carry out their shared fondness of chaos and ruin. So although quite physically powerful, he's constantly paranoid, and for good reason it would seem. Many would vie for the title of the most powerful demon lord given the chance. Despite this, and perhaps wisely so, Demogorgon tends to avoid direct conflict when possible.
Like a smart person would.
Like a smart person. So Demogorgon instead prefers to use magic to manipulate their servants to perform their bidding. He has the power to hypnotize a creature with merely his gaze. This is particularly effective regarding lesser demons roaming in his abyssal lair. So pretty much if he rolls up on a nobody, he can just be like, "You're doing this now."
Yeah, you
like
work for me now.
10-4. And
that's very useful.
Like all the demon lords, an in-person sighting could very well lead one's mind to the terrible ruins of madness. The strike from one of his tentacles can inflict horrible disease, incurable through conventional methods, upon striking an opponent. And his barbed, hooked tail can drain the life force from a living being upon embedding itself into the chunky meat places. Yeah. And even if, I'm sure if you don't have chunky meat places, he'll probably find a way to weave that thing in there. Yeah. But it looks especially good against chunky meat places.
It does.
You have anything for me so far? Did you find any glowing demon lords?
No, I looked at every other demon lord, and the only one I thought that might glow was Orcus, but then I remembered he's dead, so he's kind of got that like cold dead thing going on.
That is a thing.
So not very glowy, but yeah, none of them have this interior glow that Demogorgon seems to have.
All right. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Demogorgon lives in the 88th layer of the Abyss, the Gaping Maw, and in this layer you will find the Brine Flats, acting as the Demon Lord's front lawn, so to speak. Jutting from this is Demogorgon's palace, Abyssum. That's its name.
Nice.
It's like the embodiment of the abyss, I guess. Yeah. This is Abyssums. Two tall pointed spires rise out of the water topped with minarets. So they're like kind of little balcony kind of things. Yeah. Some say that these are shaped like skulls, which I think is kind of cool flavor, but I don't know if that's canonical.
Even his fifth edition design, his head looks very skull-like. His his
skin's kind of sunken in and peeled back a little bit.
Exactly, almost like a black dragon.
So these two spires, these structures are linked by a single bridge near the top, much like an evil, chaotic iceberg, I would say. The majority of the palace lay beneath the surface. So
so it's actually more of an underwater palace.
I would say so, because these while these towers are very tall, they're thin. I think the majority of it, I'm imagining it connects at the bottom, maybe like a big underground fortress.
Like a bulky base
just
foundation.
like a big demonic warehouse.
Okay.
Just filled with demons.
Yeah, sure.
That's probably where he chills a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know. Like, I imagine him, like, crawling up the side and, like, getting to the top real extra fast.
Yeah, that's true. Why does he live in the water? That's what gets... Because there's nothing about him, except for maybe the tentacles, that scream water creature to me.
Yeah, he's kind of amphibian looking in, like, some aspects, like his lower body and his tentacles.
But, like, his feet aren't webbed or anything.
No, his feet are detailed to be webbed in some,
Okay, well,
in some of the lore.
In this imagery, it doesn't look
Can't
webbed,
really
but
tell,
He
yeah.
doesn't, like, he does not look like a thing that can swim.
No, but it just says, like, on its own
Maybe
line
his
of text.
tentacles, like, they like propellers.
Oh, that wasn't what I was gonna go with, but I love that. He's fucking miles per houring it through the ocean.
Exactly.
Maybe he can only move backwards.
Yeah, I can see that.
So his feet are webbed so he can like water ski off the top.
There we go. I like that.
No, I was thinking he would like dive down and use the tentacles to like grab. His lair seems like kind of rocky.
Mm-hmm.
It's surrounded by like caverns and reefs and stuff and like salt flats and things like that. I'm figuring tentacles could just like grab onto stuff or grab onto the ground while he just like walks, keep him submerged.
So he can't swim.
So he's like daredevilling around.
Does he have swim speed?
I don't know.
He
I don't
does.
think
He's
so.
got a fucking phenomenally fast swim speed.
Apparently, he's built
He's propelling through the water. I'm telling
built
you.
for water. Yeah, he's got to be doing that
Yeah.
miles per hour shit. Okay.
Indeed.
I've got a little bit left here.
Go for it.
I'm getting tired.
Oh no.
Okay, I read that part. Reefs, hell yeah. So, I'll just read this part anyway. Below and beyond the palace lay a vast network of underwater caverns lined with reefs leading up to the main structure. This creates a type of barrier or blockade which houses many horrible and powerful creatures that worship and serve Demogorgon, including aboliths, krakens, and a race of chaotic evil manta rays known as the Ixitachitls.
Oh yeah, these guys.
The Ixies, baby. They all make war upon each other. I don't know if that specifically means the Ixitachitls are making war on each other as well, but the aboliths, the krakens, and these manta ray things.
Yeah, Demogorgon has always struck me as like might is right, and thus if you want my favor, you must prove it by killing each other.
Yeah, but it seems like the Ixitachitls, because aboliths and krakens serve other Demonlords and serve other beings or serve themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But the Ixitachitls in particular seem to be housed in the Gaping Maw. And
specifically.
Yeah.
They're not more widespread than that.
I think they wear like, hello, I'm a cultist of Demogorgon tag on their shirts when they go to parties.
Gotcha. I can see that.
So whether it be the territorial nature of the beast, the boredom, or perhaps just the chaotic influence of Demogorgon and the Gaping Maw, they fight. Like you're saying, maybe might makes right, and they're just all trying to win his chaotic love.
Yeah.
But,
His chaotic love. I like that.
Why don't we take a short rest?
Take a short rest.
Hey, Will, welcome to the part of the episode where we talk about Demogorgon. Fuck. Will, I need power. I need power.
I think we both do.
We need shoutouts.
We need the energy of our cultists.
We need the energy of our cultists. Please bring the patrons of Demogorgon's names to light so Demogorgon can know we've been doing his bidding.
I shall do so thusly. Thank you, Adam Richards.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Tybalt X.
Thank you, Tybalt.
Thank you, John Brennan.
Thank
Brennan.
you.
Yeah, John Brennan. Thank you, John Brennan.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Rexology TV.
I saw Jamie's, did Pledge come in? Did we know her? Is that the Jamie we know?
No, I don't think it's the Jamie that we know.
Okay, well, thanks anyway, Jamie. Who did you say after that?
I said Rexology TV.
Thank you, Rexology TV.
Thank you, Joel Fogelson.
Oh, Joel Fogelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Patterson.
Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Spencer Kane.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, Oscar. Bro, your handwriting.
Let me get this one.
Yeah, go for it, please.
I need Resendiz, Resendiz. With your name, Oscar, I can feel my power returning.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Joel Lima.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, wolves wearing hats.
Thank you, wolves wearing hats.
To all the wolves in the world that wear hats, thank you.
Wolves wearing hats. Oh, my power is returned.
I feel stronger.
I feel much stronger. Thank you for coming on to our Patreon, which is linked to the Dungeoncast, which is linked inherently to the powers of Demogorgon.
This is true.
And I hope you're enjoying all of your chaotic evil bonus content that's in there. We've recently made some changes to make the Patreon easier to use, and everything is housed in our own Google Drive system and not in the systems of Patreon. It's still there. It's still in Patreon system. If you're used to it, you can keep doing that, but I'll tell you what, it's much better now. And that's all thanks to Demogorgon. So thanks, Demogorgon. It's a good idea.
And to honor him, I believe we have made a Demogorgon-centric goal.
We have made, yes. Demogorgon says if we get enough money, we can do some art of Demogorgon and put it in our Teespring.
We may paint his visage.
We will be putting that art into Teespring so that everybody can get it.
Yes.
So if you guys want to see some sweet Dungeoncast Demogorgon stuff, we're working on a lot of things art-wise right now, which is very exciting for us always.
Yeah, I got some work ahead of me.
Yes, we all do. And also to honor Demogorgon, aside from this goal, go to our patreon.com/Dungeoncast to check out how to become a loyal patron of Demogorgon and Will and I at the Dungeoncast. But also, not only have we taken up this goal to achieve for the glory of our leader Demogorgon, I've also taken up a Pact of Warlock, a Fiendish Warlock, and
ooh, nice.
Yeah, I got a sweet Quasit, and I can charm person real good now, and I do have to wear like thicker clothes because Jesus, that thing will not stay still, man. I didn't bring it today because I was worried it would blow up the mics.
Yeah,
just kind of left it at home. I hope everything at home is cool, but like, it's pretty chill.
House in shambles.
Yeah, but I think we should probably get back to the great glory of our demon prince, Lord Strongman, Demogorgon.
Let's get back to the show.
Let's get to those 2.5 doors. Will keeps talking about Orcus, and I think it fucked with the recording. So this next part is just from the camera. We also want to give a very special shout out to Topi Vasenin, who has been very patient for their shout out. So thank you very much, Topi. Here you go.
We've returned.
We've returned. Now, how you feeling, Will? I feel pretty good after that.
I feel energized.
I feel like
many souls of the damned are flowing through these veins.
Am I glowing? Am I glowing with the souls of the damned?
I see a little bit of glow.
That's it. That's that good shit I do like. There is one large landmass in the Gaping Maw, William.
Yes. His island, right?
Yes, we did talk. Well, by island, you mean continent.
Oh, is it continent-sized?
I've been reading that it's very, very big.
Okay.
There are island chains peppered throughout, as I understand
Archipelagos.
Archipelagos, if you will. But sometimes they're just like rando one island. And I don't know like how canonical some of this stuff is. There's a lot of just like rumors floating around. I've never actually been to the Gaping Maw, though I'd like to go one day. Shout out to Demogorgon. Yeah. But a lot of people online seem to be fleshing things out as they go. And by that, I think they mean like having fever dreams in the middle of the night about what these places look like, potentially.
I see.
But the Abyss is like kind of an ever-changing thing as well.
Yes,
I imagine maybe the islands move positions, and I'm positing this all by imagination. But, you know.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly how that works.
Nothing written like that, but, you know, it is what it is. So we did talk about it on our last Demogorgon episode. Shout out to Demogorgon. It is its own large continent covered in tropical jungles. Here you can find the capital city, Lemoriax. Demogorgon keeps his own personal fortress in a bog there called Ungorth Reddick.
So this isn't his main fortress, is this like his backup fortress?
This is like a side fortress.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I think he's got like
he's got two heads, maybe he needs two fortresses.
He's got two fortresses.
What are the names of the two heads again?
Amael.
So maybe this is Amael and Hephrodai has the other one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's definitely... Because his main fortress, the Spires, they're already split. Sort of.
Right, there's like two of that.
And as a warlock, patron of Demogorgon, I will tell you, that, as a cultist, that when you make a Demogorgon temple, you do cut that shit in half. You do split that shit down the middle, and you make one side for each. So maybe he's got two, and they're each split down the middle. I don't really know.
Yeah,
but
however you want to flavor it.
It could be either way. Yeah, one represents this head, one. I like that. Mm-hmm. At the Ungorth Reddick, you will find his personal army that most notably includes Hezrau demons, aboleths, and scum. Scum is like.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that word.
Well, scum, I guess...
They're a thing? They're like a monster?
Yeah, they're a monster. I think they got released in Saltmarsh module.
My scum.
It's basically a bad mermaid.
Oh, okay.
Like a squid mermaid.
Squid mermaid.
Like mostly squid. It's okay. So the lower half, it looks like bad Squidward. The lower half is 4 tentacles, like squid tentacles.
Okay, all
and
right,
it's kind of white and ghostly, like a squid. And then the top is kind of like wiener shaped, and then it's got arms.
like buff human arms?
They're kind of skinny. Let me. I think I have an.
How does this tentacle thing walk on land in this fortress in a bog?
I don't know.
If anything, you would think they would live in the ocean fortress.
That's good.
Maybe it's just an asshole that no, you guys got the land fortress.
I'm picturing it. It looks like it can kind of walk.
Let me see a picture.
Let me hang on. I think I went over it. So scum 5e images. So here it is.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's pretty scary looking.
Yeah.
I like the design on that.
So there's
it's very Lovecraftian.
You can see like a skeleton in there almost.
Yeah.
And then maybe what looks like gills kind of flapped over the neck area. And then it's got like a bunch of eyes.
It's like a human and a squid were spliced and together.
Yeah, bad Squidward.
Very bad.
Very
Squidward.
bad.
Not just bad Squidward, horrifying Squidward.
Yeah, I can kind of picture the.
But I can see how they walk on land.
Right.
They're much more sturdy looking than I had imagined.
Yeah, so these things could probably swim through if they're moving through a bog, they're probably moving through a bog, no problem, right?
Yeah.
So they've got a powerful lower body, and I'm kind of picturing what's that monster from Zelda? And I didn't think about this earlier. I'm thinking about this now.
What?
It eats your shield.
The like-likes?
Like-likes. They're the big columns that are nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of, I picture it moving like that, where it kind of just does this weird jiggle.
I can see that.
And the tentacles kind of flopping to move it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can tell me whether this is written or not, but it seems obvious to me that he recruited these dudes from Dagon. Because Dagon is an Oberonth.
Yes.
Who is a Lovecraftian demon, and those are very Lovecraftian-looking squid demons, and Dagon's an underwater Lovecraftian squid demon.
It is said that the 88th layer connects to Dagon's layer down below that.
Like the 89th?
The 90?
Or the 90th?
The 90, I think is what it is.
Okay.
It's a weird situation down there. Basically, you have the Abyssian Ocean, and Demogorgon exists in the 88th layer in the Abyssian Ocean, but the Abyssian Ocean kind of spans across multiple layers of the abyss, as I have it, and that is more of a lateral thing, on the surface. But if you go down, you get to the bottom of Demogorgon's fortress. And then you get to Dagon's lair, apparently. Right. And there's a portal there or something. And then I think there are portals kind of all over Demogorgon's lair that could take you to rando places. We'll get to that in a little bit, but okay. I'll continue on with what I have here. So there are many other locations across this continent, including several island chains kind of peppered throughout the lair. Like I said, Will, sometimes people ask me if Demogorgon is so powerful, then why does he have his layers so far down? Why is he 88 layers down? And you know what I say to them, Will?
What do you say to them?
Because fuck you, that's why. Anyway.
I mean, the numbers are arbitrary. There is no beginning or end to the abyss.
I mean, I've seen a Forgotten Realms drawing where it's like a funnel.
Yeah,
kind
but
of,
that was like a 3rd edition idea.
And they are numbered, so there's some implications there.
The number is supposed to represent the order in which they're discovered.
Yeah.
Because there's supposedly an infinite number then.
There's supposedly an infinite number. So the Screaming Jungle exists on this continent.
Oh god, does it actually scream?
Yeah, it's actually this huge region is named after the many monkeys, lemurs, and apes that call this place home. So
nice.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, cool.
There are also
I think they're demonic lemurs, monkeys, and apes.
I think they're probably statted out like monkeys, lemurs, and apes, but they're definitely not normal if they're living here.
Yeah,
they've been corrupted, and they're probably on the chaotic evil side. Not if not demonic, then right there. You're right there.
Yeah.
There are also troglodytes, lizard folk, Hezrau demons, and Yuan Ti, supposedly.
I can see all that.
Scattered through here. Dinosaurs, and the Barlguras.
So it's like the Savage Lands in X-Men.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the Savage Lands. And dire apes can also be found there in the deeper parts of the jungle.
Yeah.
So these
like King Kong's Island. This is just like King Kong's Island.
This is a lot like that. So maybe this is some inspiration drawn.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
100%.
So think of King Kong's Island. So there is a. Oh
Which,
yeah.
I've said this before. I don't know if on the show, but I find King Kong to actually be a Lovecraftian type tale. But we can get
King Kong is a wild story for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
There's kind of echoes of Jurassic Park are echoes of King Kong and Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
the
sure.
way like they end up going to the mainland and shit. So there is a portal way deep in this jungle, supposedly, that leads to Lair 90, the guttering grove of Ixitachitl. Ixitachitl.
Okay.
That's the patron of the Barlguras.
Okay.
And that I found that in Dragon Magazine 10. Weird ass Dragon Magazine.
Early Dragon Magazine.
That Dragon Magazine, the cover of that Dragon Magazine is wild. I don't have it up, and I don't want to try to recall it, but I just remember seeing it and being like, "What the fuck? This weird ass Dragon Magazine again?" That's my new thing for the show.
Yeah, Dragon Magazine's wild. So the Lord of the 90th Lair is the Lord of the Balguras?
Yeah. So do you know what the Barlgura looks like?
They're the orange ape demons.
Yeah, I don't know what Ixitachitl looks like. I imagine it's like a monkey.
Big one of those.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean.
Lord of the Balrogs.
I just wanted to touch on, like, not only can you get to Dagon's lair, you can go to, like, which is probably 89 considering what I just read. So 90 is the Guttering Grove.
Yeah.
You can go to lots of places from Demogorgon's lair, apparently. All the adjacent layers in the ocean. Let's talk about Greyhawk.
Okay.
Colorinth. I think it's Colorinth. Now, Colorinth is a stone fortress perched up on some rocks. It's home to one of Demogorgon's greatest champions, which is a death knight named Kargoth the Betrayer, or Saint Kargoth, as he's known in Greyhawk. He has a strong contact, and many strong contacts, I think, on the material plane, and sometimes people in the realms travel to his palace. He has a dark brown pool located in the palace that is a gateway to Abyssal. So basically, there's a super badass death knight out here somewhere, basically on an island, and he's transporting what I would imagine to be patrons or people of importance into the lair and sending them onward to Demogorgon, etc. Demogorgon kind of tends to have it's like written that he has conversations with other Demonlords and stuff like that.
For
like
sure.
he holds consult. Like Dagon, a Demonlord from below, will advise each of Demogorgon's heads separately.
Yeah.
So Dagon has some kind of, it seems like some influence over Demogorgon.
Yep.
But they seem to be more like homies most of the time.
Yeah.
Although Dagon has his own machinations.
Their goals align.
Right. So he'll kind of take each. You know, he knows what Demogorgon needs, so he's going to talk to each head like it's his own little baby.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's like.
How does that work? It's like you turn away.
Well, right. It's like partitioning themselves with magic.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it's exactly like that. Like they'll divinate to each other maybe, and like
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Like, hey, it's me, Dagon. Pick up. I know you're there.
I can just do it. What are you doing over there? Talking to Dagon. Leave me alone.
Talking to Dagon, dude. Stop. Oh man, I figure he's mostly telling Hephrodite to calm down, and he's mostly telling Amael to leave Hephrodite alone or something like that.
You guys stop fighting right now.
Yeah, I think that he probably knows the best way to calm them down is to counsel them separately.
Right.
And counsel was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Well, I need even more power, and I know that sounds selfish, but it's being called from within me.
Yeah.
So
sometimes these things they come from above us.
Yeah, and in some cases below far below.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and shout out some patrons if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it.
Demogorgon / the Dungeoncast. Thank you, D'Angelo Delgado.
Thank you, D'Angelo.
Thank you, Scott McCool.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Hayden Fabre.
Thank you, Hayden.
And thank you, Ari the Foxkit.
Thank you. What was it, Ari?
Ari the Foxkit.
Thank you, Ari.
Thank you, Sean Kasai.
Thank you, Sean.
Kasal.
Thank you, Sean.
I thought that L was an I. My bad. Thank you, Johnny Hustiano.
Thank you,
I say it
Johnny.
like that every time.
Oh, he said that we didn't have to shout him out again.
Oh.
Because he's a returner. But you know what? You just got shouted out again.
I suspected that he was doing it on purpose. So
he
messaged
messaged me. He messaged me.
If you want to dip and come back just for a shout out, we'll do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or if you hit me up, be like, can you shout me out again? We'll do it. We'll do it. You guys are awesome. Okay. Thank you. Insert name. That's all one word.
Oh,
with
thank
the
you.
I
Insert
and
name.
N capitalized. But that's thank you. Insert name. And thank you. Let's see. That darn monkey love.
Thank you, that darn monkey love.
They're actually upping, so this is the second time we've said that darn monkey love, I'm pretty sure. And thank you, and this is not a joke, this came in like yesterday, and we delayed recording this episode.
Oh yeah,
because we
this
had
was
some
not
hiccups.
planned, yeah.
Not planned, and we were just shouting people out at this point. But the real Demogorgon.
Oh my gosh, we're honored, sir.
Thank you, the real Demogorgon.
Thank you. The real DG.
The real the real Degore. I feel good. I read them all. I'm sorry. I was supposed to save 5 of them for the end, and I couldn't help myself.
You got wrapped up in that zealotry.
I got in a rhythm. Maybe we'll get one while we're recording, and then we can shout them out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If you come in during the recording, we'll let you know, and that's happened before. So.
Continue. Or is it stat block time?
It's Ettins time.
It's Ettins time. Let's
shout out to You're the Giant. You're the big guy.
They even they're getting a hand in this episode.
They're getting a hand on the ball, and we did just have our Ettins, and what was the other one?
That was the first Giants episode of the year. We did Ettins and Cyclopes.
Cyclopes. Yeah. So Ettins were apparently Demogorgon's got nice Demogorgon drawing.
Yeah, I did my best.
So wow, I'm distracted.
I'll show the camera. I was doing this while Brad was talking.
That happens so much. We have this thing, and like during games, if I'm not using it, somebody is drawing dicks. So apparently, second edition says that Demogorgon created the Ettin. There was also, I didn't want to get...
Yeah, there's a little bit of that in the 5th edition Monster Manual where they say it's a possibility.
It's a possibility, yeah. Right? It's just like one of those things, like maybe he created some Ettins.
Well, I noticed about... Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
For like the 100th time, but I noticed that in the 5th edition Monster Manual, there's a lot of the monsters that their origin never really got explained.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they just, maybe it's Demogorgon.
For reals though, because a lot of these demon lords, not just Baphomet, are making wild shit.
Sure.
They're just like apparently using their demonic energy and like some dirt to make a thing, or like they're taking another demon and like doing magics on it, or like hitting it with demon abyss chemicals.
I think the idea is when it comes to the abyss and demons is this concept of corruption.
Yes.
And like changing one thing into a nasty version of itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That is thematic.
Yeah.
And I just wrote here, this is weird. I just wrote here, I know I meant to say Warlockagon. I just wrote that by itself, but I forgot the R, so it just says Warlockagon. But I think I meant Warlockagon to remind myself to talk about how I'm a warlock now.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, Warlockagons, that's me. I did want to talk a little bit about some of these. They're called you can summon an aspect of Demogorgon if you try really hard. I think we did it once.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
So it's hard to summon that real deal to the material plane. Trust me, it is really hard to summon the full Demogorgon here. It happens. It comes. The Demogorgon can make it to the material plane, but it takes some it seems, to kind of get a Demon Lord up into a big enough hole.
Yeah.
We've talked about Abyssal incursions before. The longer one exists, the wider the portal gets, or the more powerful, something like that.
Yeah, it's like it has like different levels of calamitous intent or whatever.
Yeah, like the longer you play Jumanji, the worse shit pops off.
Exactly. There we go. And Jumanji is an abyssal incursion.
It is. We've talked about. I love talking about Jumanji in this sense. It makes the movie so much more interesting. That like if they would have kept playing, what would have come out?
Yeah. No, absolutely. As a matter of fact, if anything, if you put the newer movies aside,
and I do.
Yeah, I do. As well.
Not that they're bad.
The original movie, it almost seems like it is a direct portal to what's the Gaping Maw. Like that's almost exactly what it seems like.
Like the jungles and stuff. Like
the evil jungles of Demogorgon.
Right. So shout out to Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Jumanji is obviously a Demogorgon central movie.
That's Robin Williams was very close to being corrupted.
Yes.
And that would have been bad. I love that shit. He's like, what year is it? He's crazy because he just got out of the fucking abyss.
Yeah, exactly.
He had to get trapped in the abyss for like 30 years or some shit.
Yeah, 30? Yeah, I was 20, but it was a lot.
I think he's like 30 when he comes out, so maybe 20 years goes by.
Anyway, back to what you were saying, though.
So the cult of Demogorgon is... I read some... Do you know about this? I read some lore that says he created the Ettins, but then he linked them spiritually, and I forgot the name of the person, and I probably should have looked it up a little more, but there was a person that he linked them to, so any Ettin that was dealt damage or felt pain, that pain was transferred to this person to punish them for something.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that a thing? Maybe next time we cover Demogorgon, I'll get into more of the obscure stuff. I couldn't validify
Episode 300, we're coming your way.
I didn't have time to validify that one, so...
Sure.
But yeah, Demogorgon's cult. I want to talk about the Ixitachitl because I think that would be cool to cover the stat block.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Would you mind reading the stat block, Will, for the Ixitachitl?
Yeah, do you want to give a brief description of it first, or do you want me to do that?
It's the manta ray that killed Steve Irwin. It's very big, and it has a very long, like, spine tail. I'm sorry if that was in bad taste. This thing's got basically where a manta ray's mouth would be, though, It is like split wide open, and there's a fucking great white shark face right there. Is that right?
No.
Kinda.
It has the mouth of a great white shark.
Okay,
That's
close
what
enough
it
though.
is, yeah.
It looks like there's two heads on this thing.
What?
Like it has its
I don't
own
see
head,
two heads.
and then like a head inside of a head.
Okay,
It looks like there's a great white shark inside of there. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure. That's like looking at the pattern of a cloud and be like, that cloud looks like a cow.
Kinda, but you can see shark detail in there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm thinking like
it looks like it's the mouth of a shark.
Maybe they have two personas.
Do you want to pull up a Google image and basically it's a giant demon manta ray?
It's a giant demon manta ray. Yeah, go ahead and read it.
It's not actually a demon. It's considered a medium aberration, which again, aberrations are tied to the Lovecraftian. What are they called? The old ones.
Yeah, the great old ones.
Yeah. So again, this tells me that it's probably from Dagon's pantheon.
It's borrowing it. Maybe it's Dagon's like cheerleading squad for Demogorgon, because these are, as I understand it, these are Demogorgon's main #1 dudes.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a medium aberration, chaotic evil, armor class 16, HP 44. It's got 0 speed but 30 swim speed, so this thing can't be on land. Strength 14, Dex 18, Con 13, Intelligence 12, so they're very smart. Wisdom 13, Charisma 7. Dark Vision, they have their own language of Ixitachitl. Ixitachitl?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. They have regeneration. They regain 10 hit points at the start of every turn and only die if it starts its turn with 0 hit points. They only have one action. It's called Vampiric Bite. So it's a +4 to hit, reach 5 feet. Does 1d8 plus 2 piercing damage. The target must also succeed on a DC 11 Constitution saving throw, or its hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the damage taken. So yeah, that hits pretty hard. It's a challenge rating 2 creature, so this is definitely a low-level soldier type monster.
And there are like supposedly a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I could see swarms and swarms of these things in the ocean. And then it also has a reaction called Barbed Tail. When a creature provokes an opportunity attack from the Ixitachitl can make the following attack instead of using his bite. It's +6 to hit, does a D10 plus 4 piercing damage. It just hits with the tail.
Yes.
There's no poison or anything. It almost looks like there should be, because it just looks like something that would be
like
poisonous.
something else, like or like a life drain effect.
Yeah, something along those lines. But that's what the bite does, is a life drain effect. But there's also a variant with an Ixitachitl cleric. So again, these things are smart. Yeah. So apparently they can be super pious, and Demogorgon can give them spells like guidance, thaumaturgy, charm person, create or destroy water, hold person, silence, dispel magic, and tongue.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
It's a very interesting creature.
So if it needs to speak other language, it can with magic.
Do these things live in the prime material plane at all?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. Fun. I mean, where you have things like aboliths and krakens, I could see this thing kind of being around.
Yeah.
But mainly, I would say they're inherent to the Gaping Maw, or maybe even Dagon's Lair.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see anything that said they were in the material plane, but I don't see anything that says they're not necessarily there either.
Right. Okay.
But my research wasn't that focused on that monster.
Of course not, yeah.
It's, search Demogorgon. Let's see, what do we got here? Cultists of Demogorgon don't just include these monsters, it includes humanoids, obviously.
Yeah.
Intelligent, smart humanoids, but, if you're a cultist of Demogorgon, you probably got some wrong upstairs. Catch my drift. It's not all good up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's bad.
But we talk about this with a lot of the other Demonlords stuff.
Right. So the chaos of these demons, just some quick notes on other cultists that I want to bring up. We brought up Saint Kargoth, the Betrayer, who's I think is really cool.
Yeah.
You have the consort of Demogorgon, Malkantha, and there's some other succubi and succubus. There's
well, I mean, let's be real. Malkantha is fucked and mated with pretty much every demon lord there is.
There's a lot of Malkantha out there.
That's her MO. She's building an army.
Right.
And she's a demon lord in her own right.
And that's her sort of deal. Yeah. There's
I can make demons.
There's a Belcheresk, who is a potent Balor of Demogorgon, considered to be his right hand.
Cool. The most powerful type of demon that isn't like a super demon.
Yeah. He's an honored agent of the Gorgon himself. He controls flocks of Vrox. Do you know what Vrox are?
Yeah, they're a type of demon. We've talked about them.
We've talked about
they're the vulture demons.
Okay, so these vulture demons, they're flying all over the island.
Yeah.
On balconies of his tower are patrols of Hezrau, succubits, Glabrazu demons.
Mm-hmm. Those are cool.
Belcheresk holds an evil artifact known as the Horn of the Sea Mother. in which if it is blown, he controls the beasts of the ocean. I don't know. He just seems badass as fuck. He's probably commanding the armies and stuff like that, and having movement. I read stuff about boats patrolling the waters of Demogorgon's lair. Okay. So like crazy witches and shit like that. And I don't know how canon they are and stuff like that. Female lich pirates. We covered a lot of these last time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this stuff is detailed in like Dragon magazines and like stuff like that. So this is old stuff. But I mean, like basically all you need to know is that Demogorgon has influence over lots of different especially in his lair, like demons and stuff, but there's connections to the material plane and ways for Demogorgon to kind of manipulate and get into other layers of the abyss and find ways to fuck with people before they can fuck with him. Right. And that's his whole thing. Demogorgon's super paranoid, like a lot of creatures in D&D.
There's a lot of networking.
A lot of networking. So in terms of size of cult, not as much as a god, but way more than most fiends.
Biggest. Like, the only ones I would think would be bigger are maybe Grozd, maybe Orcus, and those are the only two.
Those are probably the only ones to compete. It does say that like the vast majority of fiends, Demogorgon's cult is the biggest. It's just like shy of godhood level.
Right.
So but we're getting there. So thanks everybody on Patreon. What do you have any questions before we get into like the stat block and stuff?
No, I don't think so. I'm ready to dive into stat block.
Stat block time.
Let's do it. So we got a big old stat block. One of the most powerful things that I think we've read a stat block for. I can't think of another more powerful one we covered, really.
Well, I don't know.
It's challenge rating 26. That's
pretty high.
Oh, the Tarrasque. The
Tarrasque. The dragon? The red dragon's 24 or something like that?
Yeah, it's like 24. Also, I don't know if we actually read the stat block for the Tarrasque. I think that might have been before we were doing that. But if not, we'll go back to it one day. So Demogorgon, huge fiend, demon, chaotic evil, armor class 22. That's natural armor, baby. 406 HP. We already know he can swim 50 feet per round.
406. That's huge.
Yeah, it's
tanky.
We already know he can swim 50 feet per round, and he also has walking speed of 50 feet per round. His ability scores are out of control. 29 strength, 26 constitution, 20 intelligence, 70 wisdom, 25 charisma, and also 14 dex. So that's his lowest one.
Okay. Yeah. 14 dex is not low.
No, it's not low, but it's really low compared to all the others.
It's probably because he's so big.
Yeah, exactly. Saving throws. He's proficient in dexterity, constitution, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. He's naturally proficient in insight and perception skills. He is resistant to cold, fire, and lightning. He's immune to poisoning, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage that isn't magical. He's immune to being charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. He has true sight 120 feet, and he can speak all languages and is telepathic.
He's around fucking rules.
Yeah, he has innate spellcasting based on his charisma, spell CC of 23. We're looking at detect magic, major image, dispel magic, fear, telekinesis, feeble mind, and project image. He has a legendary resistance where 3 times a day he can choose to succeed on a saving throw in case that he fails. He has magical resistance, which means he has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
Amen.
What?
Amen.
Sorry, amen. He said amen. Demogorgon's weapon attacks, which are his tendrils, are considered to be magical. He also has a feature called Two Heads. Demogorgon has advantage on saving throws against being blinded, deafened, stunned, or knocked unconscious because he has 2 sets of ears and eyes.
Because you got to do that shit 2 times.
Indeed. Multi-attack. Demogorgon makes 2 tentacle attacks. So this is his basic physical attack, and it's a whole paragraph. A melee weapon attack plus 17 to hit, my god, reach 10 feet, 1 target, 3d12 plus 9 bludgeoning damage on a hit. If the target is a creature, it must succeed a DC 23 Constitution saving throw, or its hit point maximum is reduced by the amount equal to the damage taken, which is a lot, because guess what, it's 3d12 plus 9.
If you're a strong DM, I highly recommend if you're doing Demogorgon stuff, every time they get hit in the Gaping Maw by an Ixitachitl or Demogorgon, add that life to Demogorgon.
Ooh, I like that. The reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. The target dies if its hit point maximum is reduced to 0. The second action that Demogorgon can take is called Gaze. Demogorgon turns his magical gaze towards one creature that he can see within 120 feet of him. The target must make a DC 23 Wisdom saving throw. Unless the target is incapacitated, it can avert its eyes to avoid the gaze to automatically succeed on the save. If the target does so, it can't see Demogorgon until the start of its next turn. If the target looks at him in the meantime, it must immediately make the save. If the target fails the save, the target suffers one of the following effects of Demogorgon's choice at random. 1. Beguiling Gaze. The target is stunned until the start of Demogorgon's next turn or until Demogorgon is no longer within line of sight. Number 2, Hypnotic Gaze. The target is charmed by Demogorgon until the start of Demogorgon's next turn. Demogorgon chooses how the charmed target uses its actions, reactions, and movement, so it takes full control of you.
Yikes.
Because this gaze requires Demogorgon to focus both heads on the target, he can't use his Maddening Gaze legendary action, which we haven't even got to yet, until the start of the next turn. Yeah. And finally, my favorite, Insanity Gaze.
Yeah.
The target suffers the effect of the Confusion spell without making a saving throw. The effect lasts until the start of Demogorgon's next turn. Demogorgon doesn't need to concentrate on the spell.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's super good.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
You just are now confused.
Yeah.
Or whatever the confusion spell says. You have to do that. I imagine you're
and
pretty
the confusion
confused.
spell is a very potent spell.
There's a random
I like
table
that
you
one a lot.
roll on to determine like what happens to you.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 different effects. Yeah. And then finally we have our legendary actions. So he only has 2. Tail, which is just another attack on top of his tentacles. So it's plus 17 to hit, reach 15 feet. 1 target, it does 2d10 plus 9 bludgeoning damage plus 2d10 necrotic damage, so it's got like that abyssal energy on it.
Yeah, totally.
And then finally, the Maddening Gaze, the one he can't do at the same time as Hypnotic Gaze. Demogorgon uses his Gaze action and must choose either the Beguiling Gaze or Insanity Gaze. So, okay, it's a way to pop off 2 Beguiling Gazes or 2 Insanity Gazes.
Yeah, because, like, look, Demogorgon spending his whole turn to look at one person for 6 seconds is, like, a weird-looking combat.
Yeah.
Although effective for Demogorgon, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's weird looking, but also, there's, like... the way I picture it, it actually sounds fucking horrifying, because, like, this giant 8 monster with tentacles for arm that stands 2.5 doors tall, like, turns its heads, and I just picture, like, both eyes of whatever heads are looking at you, like, give this, like, blinding white shine.
Yeah, same.
You know, and it just, I don't know, it just looks horrifying, and then suddenly the thing he's looking at starts behaving, like, in a very detrimental way. Yeah. And you can do this to 2 people. Right. So, like, let's say you're a squad of 5, like, he just dropped 2 of your people for a round, and yeah, sure, he's open to attacks, but your 2 people might be attacking you now, or attacking themselves.
That's exactly right. I mean,
or jumping off a cliff.
I think there is a confusion, like random table option to just be cool.
You know what happened? I started talking a little too good about Arcus. Demogorgon shut off our cameras.
I told you, dude.
I'll stop doing that.
I want to read the Lair stuff, if you don't mind.
Fuck. I just shut this book. Oh, what do you know? I opened right back up to it.
Hell yeah.
Demogorgon's will.
Thank you, Demogorgon. Also, this is like a fresh... I have not read a lot of Mordekainen's. I've read some. I have bookmarks in here, but I didn't talk too much about like what the Lair does.
No.
So I wanted to...
And that is important, yeah.
So we pretty
also
much covered
regional
this
effects.
Yes. So that's kind of what I want to go over. On an initiative count of 20, losing initiative ties, Demogorgon takes a Lair action to cause one of the following effects. He can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. The first one is that Demogorgon creates an illusory duplicate of himself, which appears in his own space and lasts until initiative count 20 of the next round. On his turn, Demogorgon can move the illusory duplicate a distance equal to his walking speed, no action required. The first time a creature or object interacts physically with Demogorgon, for example by hitting him with an attack, there is a 50% chance that the illusory duplicate is being affected, not Demogorgon himself, in which case the illusion disappears. The next one is that Demogorgon casts the Darkness spell 4 times at its lowest level, targeting different areas within with the spell.
Yeah.
Demogorgon does not need to concentrate on spells which end on initiative count 20 for the next round. He's so powerful he can just do this magic that usually takes like consistent action to maintain.
Yeah.
So, we'll get into aspects of Demogorgon. So I forgot to touch on that. So Demogorgon's creating stuff. He's creating shit that looks like him. So maybe like I can see why Stranger Things kind of is doing this thing with it kind of looks like a Demogorgon a little bit in some ways.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Compared to some of the stuff I was looking at, I pulled up Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine 149, and it's got these really cool Demogorgon, like, sort of, like, post-experiment. Like, one of them's this general, and I was telling you, Will, before the cast that we could do, like, a whole podcast on this magazine and just the Demogorgon module. But here's this thing, Will, if you can look around and see it. It's called the Gorgant. This kind of reminds me of the Stranger Things a little bit. Yeah, but not... Like,
vaguely.
So it's got the baboon head, or the mandrill head, but it's like the front of it, where it would normally have its eyes, is like the side of it instead, and it's got two heads on either side.
I would just say, like, having watched all 3 seasons of Stranger Things, like, the boys play D&D, and thus when monsters show up, they name it after a monster from the game, but they have zero to do with each other. And like, for example, spoilers for Stranger Things. I'm not apologizing. The thing that's way stronger and way above the Demogorgon of Stranger Things is called the Mind Flayer.
Right,
which is, you know, if you put that in D&D terms, that doesn't even make sense, because the Demogorgon is way above and beyond a Mind Flayer. And the thing that is the Mind Flayer is nothing like an illithid, so...
So here's another one. The General Bogramar.
Okay.
This thing looks scary. This thing does look like a dinosaur monkey.
Oh yeah, it's very similar to him, yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on those before we get away. Maybe one day we'll cover Dungeon Magazine.
I mean, I'm sure one day we'll do maybe a Year of the Fiend or something.
Year of the Fiend. The region containing Demogorgon's lair is warped by his magic, creating one or more of the following effects. The area within 6 miles of the lair becomes overpopulated with lizards, poisonous snakes, and other venomous beasts. Beasts within 1 mile of the lair become violent and crazed, even creatures that are normally docile. So here's where it comes in with like the monkeys and stuff, I'm sure. If a humanoid spends at least 1 hour within 1 mile of the lair, the creature must succeed a DC 23 wisdom saving throw or descend into madness. Determined by the madness of Demogorgon table, which is normal for demons. A creature that succeeds on the saving throw can't be affected by this regional effect again for 24 hours. If Demogorgon dies, these effects fade over the course of 1d10 days. Don't worry about that. Madness of Demogorgon. If a creature goes mad in Demogorgon's lair within the line of sight of Demonlord, roll on the madness of Demogorgon table to determine the nature of the madness, which is a character flaw that lasts until cured. See the Dungeon Master's Guide for more on madness, and there is a big section on madness. So on 1 to 20, someone is plotting to kill me. I need to strike first to stop them.
Paranoia.
Oof. 21 to 40, there is only one solution to my problems. Kill them all.
Psychopathy.
41 to 60, there is more than one mind inside my head.
Schizophrenia?
You're going to feel that duality, that split personality stuff.
There we go.
61 through 80, if you don't agree with me, I'll beat you into submission to get my way.
That's a one head, the mean head.
I haven't read it. There's some characters that are just like that. You don't need to roll madness.
That's true.
81 to 100, I can't allow anyone to touch anything that belongs to me. They might try to take it away from me.
Okay, back to the paranoia. Okay.
Yeah, you're kind of like...
I know he is a very paranoid demon.
You can't take my good sword.
Right.
It's mine. That's all I have on Demogorgon, Will.
Okay.
For now.
I think it's finally time we took a long rest.
Let's take a long rest.
Or get ready for one at least.
Let's do it. William, it's time for our long rest. It's been a long episode talking about Demogorgon. We've been through trials and tribulations in this episode, the likes of which we see occasionally on the show.
It's true.
When you talk about Demogorgon, you have to talk about lots of other stuff too. Maybe that upset him a little bit.
Maybe.
So I'm thinking. But we are in the long rest portion of the show.
How are them slippies?
They're pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They're from Demogorgon. They're actually LL Bean.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, Demogorgon. Really appreciate it. So the next... we have a contest going.
Oh yeah, we do.
We do. You can win it if you want.
I think so. When this episode's airing, there should be a few weeks left.
A couple weeks left.
We're giving away a bundle of the whole Icewind Dale thing going on. The new module. What is
Rime of the Frost Maiden?
Yeah, Rime of the Frost Maiden. So we're giving out the deluxe version of the book, Rime of the Frost Maiden. We're giving away the matching set die that goes with it, and we are giving away a random bundle of painted minis that are also from Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Are they painted?
They are painted.
Oh wow,
yes,
that's
they
cool.
Are. Yeah, I think the box comes with 4, and they're random from like a set of like 50 or something like that.
Yeah, so you'll get 4 rando Frost Maiden minis, which fuck yeah, fucking cool.
And if you want to win this bundle of prizes, all you have to do is share the show on Twitter. If you share the show there, you can just put the hashtag Dungeoncast. If you want to share the show elsewhere, like Facebook, I don't know, TikTok, whatever all these social medias are that I don't use out there.
Goddamn kids and their TikTok dances.
Just send us proof to the dungeoncast@gmail.com, and we'll enter you in the contest. We are announcing a winner on September 15th. I do believe Brian has some specific rules for Instagram.
Yeah, we're keeping it light on Insta these days, so let's just tag a friend in their own comment. You can say whatever else you want too, but just tag one person. That'll get you an entry. You make sure you like the post and that you're following the account to be valid to win. And then if you want to enter again, just like tag somebody else, just keep doing that. You could, I don't know, tag like 30 people. That'd be great. You could enter 30 times. So like there's a way to rack up like extra, to up your odds of getting victory. Mm-hmm. Victory. It is a contest, right?
It is.
This is like who can tag the most people and then get lucky.
Right.
We're going to roll randomly on a table across all our platforms. We're going to culminate all the names together. But that's what you can do to enter on the gram. So find me on the gram, the Dungeoncast. You can find Will on Twitter at the Dungeoncast. If you're looking to send us proof that you shared it somewhere else, thedungeoncast@gmail.com. Or if you're looking for episode sponsorship, you can do that. People are reaching out to us across like our social media. And I'm just going to direct everybody to go to the Dungeoncast@gmail.com. Go ahead and reach out to us there if you're interested in that, and we can talk. So, yeah.
Ready to call it a game?
I'm ready.
Let's call it a game.
Let's call it a game. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Later.
The Dungeoncast.